Hello everyone. Today, we will discuss about the development of offline instructional materials, specifically the self-paced learning modules that we are going to use for the better normal. The Department of Education have prepared a number of modalities that will be used for the new school year. Distance learning would include the modular distance learning, online distance learning, and the television and radio-based instruction. For this session, we will focus on the modular distance learning. Modular distance learning is where teachers will have an active role of monitoring learners' progress. Teachers will always make themselves available for consultation, clarification, or for possible remediation and enhancement activities. Availability of teachers at home or supervision of guardian or parents and siblings is also expected. If class size is larger than the allowable number of learners in a class, the in-school, off-school strategy may be employed. But since we are still in a community quarantine, face-to-face interaction is not allowed. Therefore, our modular distance learning would be a self-paced mode for our learners. What can be considered in a modular distance learning? First, our learners should have the self-learning modules of the ADM in print, converted into an e-copy or PDF, which can be sent to them through an email or through other social media platforms. A courseware to be uploaded at the LR portal, or a provision of learners' materials and textbooks, and probably availability of computers and laptops if they are again using the digital copies of the modules. In the modular distance learning, every learner is again provided with a complete set of learning package or self-learning modules or study guides. It could also be in an offline digital format, which can be in a PDF version of the modules, which can be given in a CD, DVD, or USB. Modules are designed for understanding of key concepts, for sufficient practice to master learning contents, and flexibility in finishing each module. Each module is comprised of a number or a series of activities and worksheets which will provide practice sets for the learners to master the competencies. And of course, flexibility, because the use of the modules, it will depend to the availability of the time of the learners. A self-paced learning module is a set of instructions designed to facilitate the learner's mastery of knowledge or a procedure. It could also be a fractional part of a student's educational experience. In our case, the modules that will be given to our learners are arranged according to the most essential learning competencies. So there are modules which is good for a week, and there are modules that are good for 2 or 3 weeks, depending on the timetable for a certain learning competency. So it can be a chapter, a lecture, or a unit that covers a single topic or subject. It can be in a digital or print form. Digital can be downloaded in the learning management system, or as mentioned earlier, it can be given to the learners through USBs or DVDs or CDs. Or it can also be given in a print form, a paper-based form, which we also call as the learning activity packets. An effective module would have the 4 characteristics. First, logical. The steps reflecting an occupational steps or prerequisite of knowledge and abilities and difficulty. The topics arranged in the modules are according also to the tasking of the competencies. So how it unfolds the lesson is more or less the same also as how we teach them inside the classroom, from the basic going to the more complex skills or competencies. It is self-contained because learners can pick up or access the module and begin to work without teacher intervention, and may proceed based on or looking at following the clear instructions and completing the rest of the module at a certain period of time. Third, it is comprehensive because it includes references and the whole content relevant to the objectives and competencies. Cohesive because the module content is integrated and contributes to the learner's mastery of the competencies within a reasonable time. These are some of the advantages of using modules. It can improve students' chances to master a subject. It can ensure that all students are measured by the same reasonable standards. So whether our learners would go online, they would go into modular instruction, they will be utilizing the same material, the same activity and worksheets, so we are giving them the same experience. Can be completed as a solitary experience or can be assisted by a facilitator. Students can complete it at their own pace, reviewing any difficult topic. What's the good thing about the module, because there's a part of the lesson that the student, the pupil, or the learner can simply go back to have a review. There are also part of the module which would include the activity and worksheets, of which while doing the activity, the learner can also go back to the notes or to the lesson guide to further strengthen the skill and to guide them in accomplishing the worksheets. Here are the different parts of the module. A module is a full range of information and structured format which can be used by the students in multiple methods. First part is the title. A title is the first thing that our learners would encounter upon picking up the module. It provides a concise view of the topic as well as it gives a sense of approach to the issue. It gives ourselves a chance to make a positive first impression with the title by making it a descriptive representative of the overall work. In our ADM or in the module, what can be found in the cover page is the title, which would include the grade level, the subject, and the content of the whole module. The first part of the inner pages is the short overview. This is a short introduction to the module which is giving a purpose and expectations for our learners. The module overview is a good place to activate our students' prior knowledge and experience. Sometimes this is also where prior concepts are being discussed in order for our students to be reviewed, in order for them to be reminded of the prerequisite or the support competencies needed for the module. Followed by the objectives of the module. These are also stated in such a way following the Bloom's taxonomy. The objectives in here are specific, action-oriented, and measurable. And it refers to what our students can do at the end of the module. Next, the next part is the module materials. This is where our students would be able to find out what are the materials that they need to use for the rest of the utilization of the material, which can be a video, a reading material, or samples, or case studies, simulations, whatever are needed. This is also where a brief guidance is given for the students to follow, or instruction, general instruction for our students to follow. Next is the module review. This is where we have the pre-assessment for our learners. A module would always include a pre-test and a post-test, which can be used as a springboard to link to the current lesson. Next is the lecture or readings, or what we also call as the lesson guide. These are sets of information provided to support the lesson. The module assessment is based on the information, facts, data given aside from prior knowledge of students. It can be a printed type of information or with an accompanying lecture. After the lesson guide, this is now where you have your module exercises or activities or worksheets. These are drawn from the discipline or school of interest of the target audience, bridging between the module content and the teaching experience of the user. Examples makes the module relevant and understandable while providing ideas for ways in which the teacher can use the method. After a series of lesson guide, followed by an activity, then another lesson, then another activity. The end part of this is what we call as a generalization of the concept or the summary. It's a broad statement about a subject based on the provided information, observation, and experiences. Normally, a generalization would answer and is aligned and are aligned rather to your objectives. Next is the module assessment. This is the post-test. Learners would be able to apply now their new knowledge that they have acquired in the module, and you have to refer back to the learning objectives when making decisions about activities and assessments. Assessment in here can be a formative or a summative in nature. Then we will have a reference page, which is the list of all reference materials and sources used for the development of the module. In summary, these are the 10 basic parts of a module: title, overview, objective, materials, review, discussion, application, generalization, assessment, and references. However, other modules have also unique parts and features that will suit to the context and to the needs of the learners, and of course to the context of the discipline or learning area. At this point, we will have a workshop. What you need to do is to go to our LR portal and download any module, which could be the ACE, MISOSA, or any module available in the LR portal. What we are going to do is to evaluate all parts of the module if they are present and identify the unique parts or features of the module. Next, we have to answer the question: is the module aligned to the competencies of the K-12 curriculum guide? What are the ways to contextualize the module? Your output for this workshop will be submitted to the evaluation link of the 2020 Summer Digital INSET. To learn more on simplifying module in the new normal by Sir Dion, you can watch at the YouTube video on the link on the screen, or you can also download the file at the 2020 Summer INSET Digital Materials folder. He will be discussing with you how to develop a simplified module using available materials like your teacher's guide and learner's materials. Be reminded that you are not expected to develop a full module because selected and identified master teachers and supervisors are now working in the development of these modules that will be given before the opening of school year. As teachers, our task is to simply to contextualize the material that will suit the various needs of our learners in the context of our learners and of course of the community. To end this session, let me leave with you the words of Alison Zimuda. Personalized learning is a progressively student-driven experience where students have a role in co-creating investigations and ideas. The use of module is not new to all of us. We have developed and used modules in remediation and enrichment activities. But at this time, these modules should be at the forefront and would be the main material in learning new skills, incapacitating our learners with skills and competencies that they need at this crucial time. As teachers, let us open communication platforms where our learners can get in touch with us, can communicate with us, and to seek for guidance and help. Although modules are self-paced and self-driven materials, our learners would be glad to know and would be assured that even at a distance, even that we are away from them, we are still there, giving them guidance, giving them direction in order for them to co-create investigations and ideas in these challenging times. Thank you everyone, and good day.